Welcome to the Treasury Update Podcast, coffee break sessions presented by Strategic Treasurer, covering foundational topics and core Treasury issues in about the same amount of time it takes you to drink your cup of coffee. I'll be your host, Jason Campbell, Business Development Leader at Strategic Treasurer. Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Break Session. I'll be your host, Jason Campbell, Business Development Leader here at Strategic Treasurer. Joining and chatting with me today is our Senior Advisor, Paul Galloway at Strategic Treasurer. Paul, glad to have you on again today.
Thanks for having me again.
Hey, you know what? I always love talking to you. I think we had a great conversation in the last episode of the Coffee Break Session talking about Fed Now and really kind of going into this payment themed sessions that we've been having here. And nothing better than talk about digital currency. And I think that, every day we're seeing more and more platforms that are, and you hear more chatter and we're talking about digital currencies, and it's a part of our everyday lives in some form or fashion. And so looking forward to having this conversation with you today. So let's kick it off and to, for our audience to kind of describe a little bit, but if you could just kind of tell us, what is digital currency?
Yeah, Jason, when most people think of digital currencies, they gravitate towards cryptocurrencies, which are digital tokens. They do not have an intrinsic value. They're based on what the market is willing to pay. Other forms of digital currency include stable coins, and then any digital currency that a country's central bank creates. Digital currencies never take a physical form like a fiat currency, such as the US dollar, which is also considered legal tender in our country. Fun fact that some people may not know that U.S. currency used to be backed by gold and silver. So, they called them gold notes, silver notes. I remember seeing some of these at my great-grandmother's house, and I thought they were the coolest thing ever. I thought, oh, geez, this is gold and silver. That's not what we're...
Did you find like you won treasure? Is that what you're like, look, I found the gold.
Yeah. There's currently over 100 central banks that are considering the creation of a digital currency. They are similar to what most people consider digital currencies today, in the sense that the central bank will create this as a central bank digital currency, or CBDC. In the U.S., we haven't quite gotten there. Other countries haven't quite gotten there. But I expect that it's just a matter of time where the infrastructure for these types of coins are going to be created.
So talk to us a little bit about what's the difference between digital coins versus digital tokens?
That's a great question, Jason. There are three types of digital tokens: value tokens, utility tokens, and security tokens. A value token represents something of value in the form of digital assets such as videos, music, and even art. Utility tokens provide a service to the holder of the token. They are not used as a medium of exchange, but rather they're used on the blockchain network. Security tokens represent ownership of a financial security that may be used to raise capital through the sale of tokens. These are regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission. There are three common types of digital coins: altcoins, stable coins, and meme coins. Altcoins are used to describe all cryptocurrencies that are not Bitcoin. They have a specific purpose that is different in nature. Stable coins are pegged to the value of another asset, such as the US dollar. Collateralized stable coins are backed by a pool of collateral, while algorithmic stablecoins are mathematical algorithms to maintain the peg to the value of the asset. Meme coins have gained popularity through social media. A good example of a meme coin is Dogecoin. A meme coin is something that is tied to popularity on social media.
So, I was waiting for you to say one particular person who tends to make that value of that particular coin up and down. A little of Elon Musk, right? I think I saw something the other day. He flashed something, and I think it increased the Dogecoin value by like 4.5 million or billion or something of that nature. So
Yep. Yeah, he has. He has had some influence that way.
So thank you so much for kind of breaking down the differences in these coins and tokens. So let's talk about, I love everything digital. Like I think in my life of the more ease, how fast, efficiency, less is more in this category. That's what I think when I think of digital. But let's talk about some advantages. So kind of tell our listeners a little bit, what's the advantages of digital currency?
Yeah, some of the advantages are payments can be completed quicker than doing ACHs or wires. You have the ability to complete international payments cheaper. They can be made 24/7, all year round. So it doesn't matter the day or the time. You can execute these transactions. Provides people with the ability to make payments when they don't have a bank at all. So you don't have to have a bank to make payments with these types of coins. The other one is that federal governments, as they develop the digital currencies, I think this is going to make payments for government-based programs easy. They can pay out tax refunds easily using digital coins. They can pay for other federal programs like food stamps or government programs, I should say. So I think there are some definite advantages to using digital coins.
So just like anything else, you have some advantages. There's got to be some downsides somewhere, right? So I'm just kind of curious in your mind, and your thoughts around what are some of the disadvantages that you see with digital currency?
Yeah, we talked about a wide variety of digital coins, digital tokens. They're used for different things. They're tied to different things or not tied to anything at all. So there are some disadvantages associated with digital coins. One of them is that, there's a large number of them out there, and they continue to be created on a regular basis. They have very specific uses. They're tied to various things, and it's difficult for people to educate themselves on what all these different coins do. It takes time, and so it's not easy to make decisions around which one you're going to use unless you're spending a lot of time digging into it. And for most people, they don't want to spend a lot of time digging into it. They just want to know that it's going to work. If they're wanting, for whatever they're wanting to do, they want something that they can use for everything. We like it easy, right? So that's a couple challenges that right offhand are faced with digital coins. One of the other things is volatility of cryptocurrency prices. I mean, how many times have we seen cryptocurrencies that aren't pegged to the value of an underlying asset, right? These currencies move in value based on what's going on in the markets. And we've had all kinds of different headlines that have come across that have caused a lot of volatility in these coins. In particular, Bitcoin has been one that's always been the headline with movement up and down, wild swings along the way. We've heard of FTX and others that have failed, some that have been called Ponzi schemes, some that created volatility in this market for cryptocurrencies. With that being said, I don't think cryptocurrencies are going away. I think it's part of the growing process as you're developing something that's really new and novel. And these coins and tokens are novel, they're unique, they're new. There's going to be some volatility along the way. I think you just need to understand that. You need to understand what you're getting into before you jump into it. And the last thing I think is around governments that are considering creating a digital coin. They all seem to be relatively slow coming to terms with that. There are some that are moving along a little bit quicker. From a U.S. perspective, my hope is that seeing FedNow, in our prior podcast, we talked about FedNow, instant payment infrastructure that the Fed has created. My hope is that they're going to turn their attention towards digital coins. I'd like to see the U.S. be a leader in this arena, but right now it's been kind of a slow process.
Well, Paul, thank you for joining me today, and really do appreciate the conversation around digital currency and really educating our listeners around what it is and kind of some advantages and disadvantages to it. And for our listeners, thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Coffee Break Session. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback you'd like to share, please send us a note at podcast@strategictreasure.com. Until next time, take care.
This podcast is provided for informational purposes only, and statements made by Strategic Treasurer LLC on this podcast are not intended as legal, business, consulting, or tax advice. For more information, visit and bookmark strategictreasurer.com.